Jeff McErlain here for Premier Guitar, and today I'm going to talk about a B minor blues. It's got a rumba feel similar to Stevie Ray Vaughan's version of the Kenny Burrell classic Chitlins Con Carne. So we have a regular 12-bar form, but in a minor blues in this case, there's a bunch of variations, but the one we're going to look at, we're going to, instead of playing 3 dominant 7th chords, as you would in a regular blues, we're going to play 3 minor chords. So in the key of B minor, our 3 minor chords are going to be B minor as our 1 chord, the 4 chord is E minor, and our 5 chord is F sharp minor. All right, so the idea I want to talk about today is first, B minor pentatonic, B minor blues sounds great over all of this, and we're going to use that as kind of our jumping point. So all those kind of licks based upon that is going to be the home base. So if you look at a B minor pentatonic scale, which is spelled B, D, E, F sharp, A, you have a B minor chord in there. Now B minor is spelled B, D, F sharp. Now you don't have to be super theory heavy to get all this. Just look at your B minor chord, right? There it is. B minor pentatonic is right there. It just sits right in it. Okay. So when we're on our B minor chord, we want to really accentuate the notes of the B minor chord. So what we're doing is targeting chord tones in this chord progression to get more sound or to get a little deeper into the chord changes as opposed to just using a minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so what I'm going to do is outline the shape of the chord. And in essence, we're working on playing arpeggios, but you don't have to think about it that way. You're just shooting for chord tones. So right here, I have a B minor triad. This is the top of my B minor chord. Right? Now when I go to my 4 chord, which is E minor spelled E, G, B. Now if you listen, or if you look at the scale, B minor pentatonic does not have a G in it, but the chord does. So a great note to target would be the one that is outside of your B minor pentatonic scale. And then the rest of the notes I want to sit on or spend most of the time on will be the notes of the chord. So it's going to be E, G, and B. But like I said, if you're not really comfortable with like, oh no, I got to memorize all these notes, you can just play the chord shape. So listen, this is pretty cool. So here's my B minor chord. Hear that change? When I went to that E minor chord, I played that G note back to the F sharp, which is part of my B minor chord. So I outlined the 1 to the 4 chord by really just targeting the notes of the E minor chord, specifically the G note. Right? I also have the rest of the chord tones. I could just simply play from the chord shape. Okay, now when I go to my 5 chord, F sharp minor. Now F sharp minor is spelled F sharp A, C sharp. So once again, you might not be comfortable with that or know that, but if you know an F sharp minor fingering, it's a great way to dig into it. I could just move this straight up, whole steps. There's my F sharp, my A, my C sharp. So I can do my 1 chord, my 4, back to my 1, now my 5 chord, right? So I just played the chord. 5, 4, 1. So it's pretty simple. The first way to practice this is to just target the notes, right? Be really, really literal about it. Right? You know, you're practicing. You're not playing in the sense of trying to performing. You're not performing, you're practicing. So getting those shapes. So where's another B minor triad? Right here, it's like your D minor, right? But you're gonna bring it all the way up to the 10th fret, first ring of the 10th fret. There's my root. Where's my E minor? And then my F sharp minor is right there. So starting to see those. So you're outlining the chord changes by just even playing the chord shape. All right, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. What I would start to think about is finding one note. You know, just limit yourself. Okay, I'm going to play B minor blues. I'm going to play B minor pentatonic. But when I get to the 4 chord, I want to make sure I hit that G note. So you're not getting overwhelmed just trying to outline each of the chord shapes. That's a great way to do it. Just target one of them, and that's your goal for the week of practicing or until you get comfortable with it. I'm just going to choose one note that is out of my normal thing that I do, right? So that's practicing smart. If you try to practice all these changes at once and you're feeling overwhelmed, then you're really not getting the benefit of doing all this stuff, right? So you just choose one. In this case, I'm going to choose that G. First place I actually learned this, first place I heard this and thought this was the coolest thing was Jimmy Page on Since I've Been Loving You. He goes from the 1 chord, you know, C minor in the Page version, but when he goes to that 4 chord, he gets that flatted third of the 4 chord. And that was really intriguing to me because I didn't understand what he was doing at the time. So what I did was I learned the chord progression and started to try to analyze what it was that Jimmy Page was doing. All right, so this stuff sounds great. Now, one little word of advice. If you outline every single chord change, that doesn't sound really great either. It can be a little predictable. So the magic is mixing it with the B minor pentatonic scale. Now, interestingly enough, we really are working out of a B Aeolian scale. The reason why I didn't talk about that in the beginning is because that can lead to a lot of confusion. The idea for me is to find the key chord tones and not thinking about a scale that's going to cover everything. B minor or B Aeolian, the 1 chord in B minor is B minor, and your 4 chord in there is E minor, and your 5 chord is F sharp minor. But when I'm soloing over this, I'm not thinking a B minor or B Aeolian scale. I know it happens to be the proper scale, but that gets us away from the point of thinking about targeting chord tones. The key here is targeting chord tones. So I hope this is clear. Like I said, have fun. Choose one note from each of the chords to just introduce into your vocabulary when that chord comes around. It's about practicing it and practicing very smartly. Okay, so I'm Jeff McErlain for Premier Guitar. Please check me out at jeffmcerlain.com, and thanks so much for checking us out.